Right, let's take you to this story. A WBC boxing belt has been stolen from the Nelson Mandela House on Vilakazi Street at Orlando West in Soweto. The belt, which was on display and is worth about 50,000 rand, was reported missing by employees on the 1st of July. It was gifted to Madiba in 1990 by former American boxer Sugar Ray Leonard. For more information on this, we are joined by the product head at I2 Artinsure, Gail Bosch. Very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. I mean, this is precious memorabilia here and something that should be in the history books of the country. What's your take, of course, as we learned that it's since now been stolen?
Absolutely, and thank you for having me. Yes, my take is that these items are irreplaceable, and it is tragic when one of our cultural history items gets stolen. So we are hoping that it will turn up in the future, but at the moment, as you said, it has gone missing.
So what happens now in terms of, I mean, the police have already spoken to how much it's valued. They've put 50,000 rand as a price tag here. What are the processes that need to happen now as police try and hopefully secure it?
Well, as the ongoing investigation continues, what we can do in the interim is notify all of the secondary markets of the theft so that we can pick it up in any of the auction houses where it appears, so that it doesn't get sold on. We actually have an art theft register on our website where you can register stolen items so that people can check against it to make sure that they're not selling any kind of stolen works.
How does such a one-of-a-kind item even get valued? I mean, they've established and put 50,000 rand as a price tag, but one would imagine that there are certain steps that need to be, boxes that need to be ticked in terms of really getting to an accurate amount.
Thanks. Yes. So when we're determining these values, you've got to realize that it's not just the actual value of the materials that the items are made from. The provenance plays a huge part in the value of the boxing gloves because you know who they belong to, who they came from, and the story actually gives the items values. So how values are determined is that it's a process of determining what the value would be between a willing buyer and a willing seller in an open market. And also because there are so many of the other memorabilia in the Nelson Mandela collection that have been sold, there's a good track record of the sales, so we can look at other similar items in order to find the value of these types of works.
In this instance, it was given to former President Nelson Mandela by former American legend, World Boxing Championship belt, which was from Sugar Ray Leonard, which was given to Mandela shortly after his release from prison on Robben Island. So it already speaks to a champion, which has now given it to a president, a leader, or someone of high value. Does that also serve as a contributing factor in determining the value within the price?
It would do, yes. And also it would depend on the person that is intending to buy it, or if it was an accidental theft, and where it's going to turn up in the secondary market, if we can pick it up to find it to return it to its rightful place.
How will the police need to now investigate a theft like this? Because one would need to establish authenticity. How would you know if it was now taken and then duplicated and then now resold? Perhaps you could have, the person who stole it now selling it over and over to different people without them really knowing the authenticity.
In terms of the authenticity, we do work with quite an extensive panel of experts that would be able to determine the authenticity of an item. So it's not entirely the insurance company that would determine the authenticity. We do make use of an extensive panel that we use for determining authenticity. We would use experts in that particular field. There are different experts that would value different types of items. So in terms of sporting memorabilia, we have a panel of experts that would be able to assist us in determining the authenticity.
In this instance, we're speaking about a boxing belt. So one would assume perhaps that you need to look out for a certain number, or perhaps the material that was used would be of a certain kind. What would some of the other factors be?
It does depend on the item. So it would be depending on the records that we've got, the images that we've got in comparison to the records and information. It's a case-by-case basis, so it's not a one-size-fits-all. There are different avenues that would be taken for different types of collectibles.
Very well. Thank you so much for your time. Gail Bosch from Artinsure, speaking about the sort of value that one would attach to items such as this. We know that Nelson Mandela's boxing belt has been stolen in Vilakazi, reported on the 1st of July, and of course speaking to some of the elements that would define an authentic and a non-authentic piece of this value.